Evening, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all to episode, I think it's 46 of the XBL Party Podcast UK. Redders isn't feeling too good tonight, so I am your host, Ash, aka I'm a Ghostbuster, and I am joined today by BMG, Sentinel, and special guest, Scott. How's it going, everyone?
Evening.
How are you, BMG? He's just
well,
died.
I'm a bit sad. I was just before we went live. I was in the middle of playing a bit of Marvel Snap. I lost my last game with some stupid idiot that played a card better than me, and so I'm in a bit of mourning because I dropped 2 levels. It's got me down.
BMG, can I maybe try to cheer you up?
Oh no!
Don't
can
do
I try?
it. Don't you dare do it.
No. Right, seriously, mate. I got a new pet. Right, and he loves sitting on my shoulder, and I think you'd love to see him because there he is. Look, he just loves sitting there. You're all right there, mate. All right, he's good.
He's so happy looking at him dancing.
Look, he just loves dancing. How does that not cheer you up, BMG?
I do.
Best mascot in any game, isn't
Kick it to the back end of the ring. On that Halo ring, I want to boot it to the far end.
Wow!
Well, I could have had the Green Hill Zone background on for you, BMG.
No.
I'll get rid of him for you, man.
Dear.
I thought you might cheer you up. I must have been wrong. Sorry.
Cool.
He's been sat.
Do you know how long it took us to prepare that earlier today?
Yeah.
I had to watch a 20-minute YouTube video on how to put fucking GIFs in my OBS video just for you. And then, you just sometimes it'll just make an appearance from time to time.
The effort. That just, God help the next opponent I've got in Marvel Snap. Oh. Now I've been busy trying to figure out how all this deep fake stuff works, and I understand none of it. Because you know that song by Ricky, what's his face? Rick that song where he goes, "I'm never going to give you up." Yeah, never going to give you up. Yeah, well, that bit where he's doing that, and going to run around, never going to desert you, but I'm going to get Jim Ryan in its place, and that's going to be the start of like the PSN Party Podcast.
So we're never going to get
so cool because he is different.
It'll be a copyright strike within the first 10 seconds of the video.
That's it, yeah.
We'll put it as a short. We'll put it as a short, and then I'll just keep doing it to the point where they send me an actual letter. That's cool because Jim, fighting for us. He's got all the regulators against Xbox now, and I'm thinking of getting a Jim Ryan tattoo. Just on my shoulder here.
Do you know what?
Ryan's face going.
I think we should make that like a channel milestone. We hit a certain thing and you get Jim Ryan's face tattooed. I think that should be it, mate, for charity or something like that. And you get a big old Jim Ryan's mug right on your arm or something, on your pec, something like that.
I don't know. I've got no room on this arm. This arm's full, and this arm's getting a bit full. So I'll figure it.
On your arse cheek. That's what
you go.
I could go for plastic surgery and hair extensions and become Jim Ryan.
You can't extend nothing.
No, that should be the other way around now because it's Jimmy Boy that's slapping Phil about.
We'll talk about what's happened this week, unfortunately, because it's unfortunately going to have to be a topic. We've been trying to avoid the whole Activision, Microsoft, Xbox, CMA, Sony crying all the time sort of news. But there's been some updates this week, so we'll get into it in a little bit. We've got all sorts of news. There's news about Atomic Heart. We'll be talking about what we've been playing. There's Game Pass additions and removals. We'll talk about some new games that were announced at the Nintendo Direct yesterday that are coming to Xbox. All sorts of news coming throughout the show. But we'll start with what we have been playing. Apparently, Muppet has been a member for a month today, so shout out to Muppet for being a channel member.
Thank you, Muppet.
Happy 1 month anniversary.
Yes, you now get a nice, colourful, slightly different shade of blue badge on your account. So enjoy that. We should really do some better pictures at some point, but we'll get to it. So what has everyone been playing this week? We'll start with you, BMG. Apart from Marvel Snap, which we don't need to hear any more about, what have you been playing?
Well, you say we don't need to hear any more about it, but as everyone from my background, Marvel Snap background, it is the not only is it the XBN Mobile Game of the Year, it's the Game Awards Game of the Year for mobile, and it's just absolutely awesome. It's brilliant. It's a card battler. There is no better game on the planet, and better than what Scott was showing me earlier, something to do with anime, spiky head people, whatever that was. But yeah, apart from Marvel Snap, I've been diving into Outer Worlds. Yeah, Outer Worlds.
The time loop game. Outer Worlds is the Fallout.
Yeah, no, you've won. The one, yeah, one's done by Obsidian. So I'm over halfway through that now. I was playing that a bit earlier. Finished Quantum Break, which I think I mentioned before. Bit of WWE 2K22. Dive back into a bit of that because the new one drops. Is it May? March? The new one drops in March. I'll be picking that up. BMG streaming today. What else have I been playing? A bit of Spider-Man. Jump back into a bit of Spider-Man because I've got the DLCs to do. Because I tend to just do main story, move on to something new because there's always games coming out. But when I bought Miles Morales, I got the PlayStation 5 remastered version free.
Yeah, I got that as well.
Free. It's free. It's like an extra tenner or something like that, which you get with it, which is good. Yeah. You pay an extra tenner, and it looks absolutely drop dead gorgeous. It's awesome. But you also get all the DLCs and loads of skins and that with it. So I've been having fun jumping back into that, doing a bit of the story. Very briefly jump back into Grand Theft Auto 5, PlayStation 5 version, having a bit of a play in that because it's quite cool. It uses DualSense features. There's like a list of stuff I was playing, but that'll do for now. That'll do. I'll be here all night otherwise, just going through because we had a week off. We had PSN had a week off because I had some stuff to deal with. So I was like, every bit of time I had to jump back into gaming. But to be fair, Marvel Snap's taken up most of my time, and I'm just hooked on it. But that's me.
That's you, is it? What about you, Scott? What you've been playing?
I've mainly been playing Dead Space, the Dead Space remake. Obviously, I completed Hi-Fi Rush. I say obviously, maybe not obvious, but I completed Hi-Fi Rush last week. I'm on Zeta Halo right now. I've been playing the new Halo Infinite event, which is finally introducing Forge maps into matchmaking, which is very, very nice to see. You know, there's like infinite potential, pun intended, for content with Forge. So it's nice to see them be able to get some of those into matchmaking already. And that's pretty much it. To
I thought they cancelled Halo. I thought they cancelled Halo when they got rid of a load of free stuff. Did Halo not go out the window with it? No. Oh.
No, it's still there, mate. It's still there, alive and kicking. Just so. But yeah. to be fair, the new event's pretty good.
I got a couple of emails saying, you know, like this one more thing, one more surprise, and I'm like, what? And it's like Forge maps we've now added, and it's like, right, okay, Jesus Christ, I play Sonic. Damn you, you little blue bastard! But I've still got the campaign installed in Halo, so I've not finished doing co-op yet. I think about 3 different people have started it, and Destiny's never shutting down Fimber. Destiny is the best live service FPS game on the planet. New expansion Lightfall is dropping in a couple of weeks, which I'll be diving into. And if anyone wants to play Destiny, give us a shout. But Halo, yeah, it's all right. Single player is all right.
To be fair,
I want to do
you mentioned co-op
with
BMG. I've just completed my legendary co-op run with a friend this past week, and I didn't get the legendary ending, and I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't he give me the ending? So we went back through, and for some reason, literally just one mission in the middle of the game was only done on heroic rather than legendary, and I've got no idea why. So I had to replay that mission on legendary, but I can't be asked to play the final level again on legendary. So it's been nice to jump back into that. Actually, I really bloody enjoy it. It's a good bloody campaign.
It's a fun co-op campaign. It's a good laugh. I mean, it's one of the better Halo campaigns in recent years. Like, not counted 1, 2, or 3. It's one of the better ones since then. It's a good laugh.
It's the best one that 343 has made, basically.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, I mean it's very different to 4.
Yeah.
4 was a good campaign, but it's almost a completely different game to 4. Yeah. Obviously, 4 is very, very linear. I would say so though, Sentinel. I would say it's probably 343's best shot of the campaign, and I rate 4 quite highly. So I think that that's fairly high praise.
Yeah, nice. It's not a bad game at all. It's really fun. It's just unfortunately dragged down by all of the crap.
Yeah. But the multiplayer is as good as ever. Like, it's still no.
The multiplayer. Do you know what? Right,
the multiplayer is excellent.
The multiplayer is excellent. It's just not got enough. It didn't have enough content, and it's one of those games that if they'd probably not said it, oh, we're doing all this, we're going to be like pumping stuff out, there wouldn't be an issue. But like with Crackdown 3 is a fine game. Like it's not going to be a game breaking. It's fun and playable. But if they'd not shown that one bloody trailer and said, "Look at this destruction," people wouldn't have crapped on it. Would have probably got solid 70s. Do you know what I mean? It'd have been a 7 out of 10 game for what it was. But everyone then was like, "Well, it's not that," and then they crapped on it. But if you've played Crackdown 3 with friends, the campaign, it's really fun. Multiplayer is a bit crap. It's fun, but it's limited and it's not fantastic. But the campaign wise, it's much better than 2. But this is one of Microsoft's main problems: is their marketing and speaking to people and like putting forward what everything is, basically. So it's the one thing they seem to fail on all the time.
Yeah, I mean they're doing better though. Like since the winter update came out in November, they've had custom games browser come out. They've got Forge in the matchmaking. They've got season 3 coming out next month. So despite all the doom and gloom around Halo, that's obviously kicked off 2023. I actually think this is going to be a pretty good year for Halo Infinite. If you're a fan of the multiplayer, that is obviously. If you're not, then you might be in for a rough ride.
Plays well.
Season 3 is all good.
Yeah, it plays really good. It does play. Yeah, it does play well. I must admit, I enjoyed the Halo multiplayer. There just wasn't. When I was on it, there just wasn't much there to do. But I did enjoy having fun. I do like Halo. Halo's a franchise I played all of. I was gutted co-op didn't drop at launch. But it's like trying to get someone to sit and really go through the co-op now with you, because a lot of people have kind of think, nah, I'm done with Halo. My mate, Anime Raza, usually I do the campaigns with him, but he hasn't had internet 3 or 4 months now, so God knows what he's doing. He's mobile data and stuff. So, probably. Yeah. I kind of upset people when I play co-op games. Like Fabio's. I must make his blood pressure go through the roof when we play games.
I'm going to talk about that in a minute when I get to what I've been playing. Oh, we had a good laugh this week. We had some fun. What about you, Sentinel? What have you been playing this week?
I've actually been playing a lot of Far Cry 5, surprisingly. I do play it on... I know it is part of Game Pass, but I bought it, of course, when it first came out. I have been trying to live stream on PlayStation 5. Unfortunately, after like an hour and a half, it'll disconnect me for whatever reason. But it doesn't disconnect me from Xbox. So I've kind of transitioned over to live streaming from Xbox instead. I didn't really like Far Cry 6 that much. I know some people are still on the Far Cry 6 kick, but I liked Far Cry 5 more than Far Cry 6 noticeably. It just kind of feels like the franchise has gone downhill. So, with them talking about Far Cry 7 already, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of apprehensive about it, but we'll see where it goes.
Nice. I still haven't played Far Cry 5 myself, to be fair. It's one of those ones that I played 4 a little bit, never got really into it. And then
Far Cry 5 is good. It's fun. It's a little different than 4. In my opinion, the best part about Far Cry 5 is the DLCs that you can get and the Far Cry arcade, where pretty much anybody can make a Far Cry level and you have to fight against people. And it's either PvP or PvE, so it's pretty cool. That's an interesting aspect of Far Cry that you didn't get with Far Cry 6. So Far Cry Arcade, when you play Far Cry 5, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. And then for me this week, I haven't played like a lot of games. I have played quite a bit. So, I mean, we finally, BMG, sat and played some games. We've been on about it for a while. We finally played some multiplayer. So we started with Sea of Thieves. Finally jumped into Sea of Thieves. First time I've logged in since they did that update to, is it Golden Sands? Where they've done the new outpost. Looks fantastic. Looks amazing. Loads of new updates. A new PvP update, which we tried and failed at massively. But we did join, we had Fabio join us, and BMG literally broke him because we were just messing around. Fabio was taking it very seriously, and then we're like, let's go kill people. Let's go, pirates, rah. And then, because we saw a ship in the distance, didn't we? Like a Reaper ship. We're like, let's go get him. And it's like, no, we've got to do PvP correctly.
Yeah.
So he put us in this PvP queue. You then go underwater for some reason in like a bubble and then pop back out and fight people. It's weird.
That's just like the matchmaking queue. Like the bit underwater, it's just the matchmaking bit. So I've not actually tried that bit. I haven't played it since that last update.
Basically, what happens is you both pop up near each other, and if you go out of the way of each other, you basically sink. It auto sinks you for running.
Oh, okay. So you're fully committed to PvP at that point. No scaring.
But we took on some people that were much better than us, like by far, because I wanted just to do it like casual. Let's go and hunt these people down, shoot them, and run away. But no, we had to do proper PvP because of Fabio. And we got absolutely wrecked, didn't we, BMG? But we had a laugh, and Fabio was not happy. But BMG did throw a few fire bombs at our own ship and set us on fire and stuff.
That's Sea of Thieves. That's the Sea of Thieves experience. You've got to do that.
I like that there's a PvP queue thing and it puts you next to someone. But I just wanted to sail around and shoot people as we went. I didn't want to do full-on fights. I wanted to be able to piss off when we knew we were going to lose, basically. But it looks great. Sea of Thieves, it runs and looks great. I like the new island, although I don't like how far and spread out all the barrels are. So if you end up starting there, it takes you forever to load the ship up with all the resources because the barrels are nowhere near as good as they were on the original island. But after Sea of Thieves and after Fabio sort of was like, sorry guys, I have to go mid-fight sort of thing because we'd failed him. We played some Ghostbusters, and then we ended up playing for a couple of nights, didn't we? Ghostbusters, Spirits Unleashed.
Yeah, we did too.
And we had a good laugh at it. Yeah. We need to go back to it. Unfortunately, then Hogwarts came and broke that streak. But Ghostbusters, they've added a new map and a new ghost class and a load of new, what's it called? Customization options. You can get the Egon, circle hair from the real Ghostbusters show, and then I had the best outfit ever. I had that long flowing mane of hair and the bright pink Ghostbusters suit and everything, and I was called handsome. It was amazing. But we played a few games of that. It's got weird matchmaking. You're in a party with your friends, and then it sticks one of you as the ghost randomly, or so you have to sort of set it so you all play the same type of character. It's like, well, there's three or four of us. We should all be on the same team, not one of us playing as the ghost. But once we figured that out,
when I was a ghost, there was that stupid 4-year-old.
Have
you been PP? Have you been for a PP? Yes, mommy. Let me check. What do you mean you're going to check? What do you mean you're going to check if he's been for a pee? What are you going to do? Push his bladder?
Yeah, basically, we were playing with a party with people, and someone had an open mic on, and they couldn't hear us because we were in party chat, but we could hear them. And it was some little kid asking to go for a wee and stuff like that. but they still wrecked BMG, which was funny. So either a parent, either mum or dad was playing and they were talking to the kids, but I don't think it was, because at one point the kid was like, "Oh, I'm playing as Slimer now. I'm playing as Slimer." So
oh Jesus,
he got wrecked. Literally right at the beginning, as playing as a ghost. We found this rift.
Wow.
The kid put out a trap right in front of the rift, and he just ran into it and captured himself. Basically, this little kid got like a 20-second capture on BMG. It was fantastic.
Wow.
We had an absolute blast. It played really fun. Well. The new map's good. Went up loads of levels, loads of it's so much better when you get a bit more customization. And then I figured out we have special abilities. You have like bombs and stuff and a zip wire that I've been playing those games and never realized I could push a different button and use those extra items and stuff. So it made the game even better. So been playing that with BMG and good laugh. We need to play some more, definitely. And it has a story in between the matches, which is nice. It's not really anything you do. It's not like an interactive story as such. It's more like a video happens, a cutscene happens, and then it's like, go and catch some more ghosts while we figure this out. So you do some multiplayer matches, hit another so many levels, and then you come back out into the lobby and it'll play another cutscene and stuff like that. So it has like an overarching story across your sort of level ups. And then Tuesday hit, and I got lost in Hogwarts Legacy, boo hiss, and I've put about 8.5, 9 hours into it so far, and I'm absolutely loving it. So it's fantastic. It's such a good game. Such a good game. If your friends are Harry Potter, or like if you're an RPG fan, you'll really like it. So
thanks.
I've been playing. Although I've
good game today, but fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. Fuck J.K. Rowling. But also, don't bully people for wanting to play games. You're counter-arguing your own argument there by being bullies to other people. Just be nice and share the hatred of JK and push the good messages you want across. That's all. But honestly, really good game. If you want to play it, I recommend it. It looks fantastic. A few odd little graphical bugs, which I think will get patched, and a few audio glitches here and there, like you get in any massive RPG, but I think they'll get patched out. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. And I've only hit, there is an achievement though. There's 4 achievements, should I say. You have to get to a certain point in the game with each of the houses. So you have to play like it says about 2 to 3 hours into the game to get one achievement with each character. And so you have to basically do it 4 times. But because I've been exploring, doing all the side quests and stuff, I've only literally done it like 20 minutes before this episode after about 8.5 hours. So that just shows how much I've just been doing all the side quests, finding the secrets, wandering about, doing what I want, instead of actually just doing the story mode. So I hate achievements like that, though. Like, there's no house change. There's no, like, a way to switch. So you got to restart the game.
Yeah.
And play all the way up to this certain point, which, like I say, is a minimum of 2 hours. I would say more, depending on like your skill level, just to then switch it off and start again with another one every time. There's no way to get them in one playthrough. Well, the rest of it you can by the looks, but that one you can't, which is a bit silly. But a quick shout out to everyone in chat. We've got Thimber, we've got Muppet, both channel members, awesome guys. We've got Deli. Saying first time here. Hello, thanks for tuning in. We've got David Cohen, and he's also put YouTuber Mads Gaming keeps saying the Xbox Series X is not being utilized. I'm more of a hi-fi rush guy. It'll get utilized further on its life cycle. I think they're doing a good job of it so far.
I think it's the same with any generation, isn't it? Things start getting better towards the end of the generation as developers become more familiar with the hardware, as the development tools improve. And
well, do you remember the 360 PS3 gen? At the start of that gen, we had stuff like Cameo and Perfect Dark Zero. And then at the end of that gen, we had gorgeous-looking games.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cameo was a gorgeous-looking game.
No, it was not. It was bright and colourful, but it was very clunky and crud.
Bring back Cameo. Bring back Cameo.
It needs a sequel, and it needs modernizing. Because I played it on Rare Replay about 6 months ago, and I got like half an hour, and I went, "No, it's not aged well." Because it has do you know what? Rare make amazing games, but half of the Rare Replay is gash nowadays. It shows its age. There's only a handful of them, like GoldenEye. You'll play it for half an hour, you'll switch it off because it's not very good anymore. It was great back in the day. It's not great now, and I'll stand by that. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, however, is a good game for like a few hours at least. We had Ginner in the chat. He's gone to work. I'm just checking if anyone else. But yeah, big shout out to everyone who's here. Hit that like button and share it out on social media. Pass it to everyone, your nana, your family, your friends. Tell them what they're missing out on and they should come and join. And you can listen to BMG talk about Destiny and Marvel Snap and stuff like that. And you can see
missing out on this.
Little dance.
They're missing out on him.
When are they adding Luke Steele to Marvel Snap? When he fixes his microphone. After last week. Hello, Luke Steele as well. He's in the chat. I've not scrolled down that far. So, yeah. So, let's jump into some topics.
It's good that he's in chat if we do go to the CMA stuff.
Yeah.
What does Luke know about the CMA stuff?
He
knows nothing. He knows nothing.
It's like he's a chef for one of the regulators.
for Jim Ryan, and that's how he knows, because he's always traveling to Brussels with Jim Ryan on his private jet, just cooking, rustling up something nice, delivering those PS5s.
I'm gonna say it because he paid for it. BMG's done a super chat saying Redders loves Marvel Snap, and because he's not here, it must be true. So, fact of the day: Redders loves Marvel Snap. Do you want to do a Redders impression for us, BMG?
Oh my god!
Redders here. Sorry, I'm not here tonight. Because I'm playing Marvel Snap and I haven't got time for the show. Fucking hell, guys!
Wow, that was horrible.
It's me, Italian Redders.
I don't know what's worse, that or BMG's French accent. His French accent is something special.
You don't get this quality content anywhere else, do you?
Hello.
There's a reason we have the same people watch every week.
Wow. Ridiculous.
Oh dear. Never mix, kids. A message for home. Never mix alcohol and vaping. Sends you crazy.
I think you were crazy before, hadn't you?
Yeah.
It's all that time we Uncle Jim, innit? That's what's up.
Have you ever seen the film Freddy Got Fingered?
Oh, people have got a life, though. That's the difference. So,
yes, definitely. Well, some of us do. Not everybody.
Gonna give you a new legend.
Oh, he's derailing me. Oh, I wasn't planning to be I'd planned to come on tonight, not pay any attention and play Hogwarts. And then Redder's like, I can't make it, guys. I'm like, oh no. So, right. So I'll jump into some topics. So, yesterday there was a Nintendo Direct. It was on at 10 p.m, which was really annoying. Like, put it on at 8 p.m, guys, for us UK people. We are the important ones. So 8 p.m. British time, please, thank you. I'm assuming some of you may have watched it, others may not have. I don't think BMG would have watched it. There's no Marvel Snap. Any of you watch it, or was it just me?
No, I watched it, Ash. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was a particularly exciting Direct, if I'm being perfectly honest, but I did watch it. I did watch it.
Do you know what? There was a handful of things I actually liked, but the majority was either like stuff they've already shown or stuff that there was like Don't Nod did a visual novel game, and I was like, out of all the things Don't Nod could be pumping out, they do a visual novel game. I was like, oh, yeah. But a handful of games are coming to Xbox from that presentation. Obviously, they don't really show it on the show. It's all just says like Nintendo. But the ones that are coming that I know of, there was a DS classic game which was out on the DS, I believe, back in 2009 or 2010. It's called Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, and it's coming to Xbox as well. And in it, you play like this dead guy, and you have to sort of like possess things to sort of complete puzzles and stuff like that, from what I can tell. Now, the remaster's going to obviously have 1080p resolution, extra puzzles that were originally on like the phone version that weren't on the DS version, and a load of other stuff. And I think it's from the person who created Ace Attorney, so it's probably got that weird sort of Japanese-style humour to it and stuff like that. So that's a cool one. What else was there? Dead Cells is getting some Castlevania DLC, which is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. Disney Dreamlight, they showed off the Lion King realm for anyone who's playing that Disney Dreamlight game. So you can get, I think they will show like Simba and Nala off and a few other characters and stuff. It all blended in at this point. But the big important thing is we are getting a Wheel of Katamari remaster in June on Xbox, and I am super hyped about this because I used to love the Katamari game on 360. We eventually got one on the Xbox One, I believe, but we haven't really had a new one since then. So Wheel of Katamari was the PS2 game, I believe, and it was probably the best one in the series. So looking forward to that. I'm trying to see if there's a date for it. June 2nd, apparently. So you should all go and buy Wheel of Katamari so we get more of them. What's that?
Never heard of it?
You never heard of Katamari? You basically play as a little teeny little person who's like, is it his uncle or his dad is like the king of the whole cosmos. He's got a ball and he rolls stuff up. So you start like by like thumbtacks and stuff. And the more you roll, the bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger you get. And then eventually you're like rolling cows up and cars up and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think I've played one of those games. I remember playing something where you're rolling this huge ball of stuff around.
Yeah. There's been two on Xbox. Like I said, there was one on the 360, which was awesome. And there was one, which was, I'm sure the one on the Xbox One is like a remake of another game. But
yeah.
They're really good. I think it was even on Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken. It may have been on Game Pass for a time. So
yeah, Thimba says it used to be on Game Pass. Yeah. I don't remember that, actually.
That could have been where I played it at.
But it's so fun. And it's one of those weird games. One of those great... This is why we need more Japanese games, because we get weird games like this, which are absolutely awesome. And more people should play it. But then, like I say, it was heavily PlayStation. The guy did Nobby Nobby Boy on PlayStation, where he had that like really long thing that like wrapped people up on the PS3.
Yeah.
But I can't remember his name. Apologies. But if you haven't ever played Katamari, you've got to play it when it comes out. Hopefully there's like a demo, and it might come to Game Pass if the other one did. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Oh, let me have a look through all of these exciting things that have been.
Just some of the just posted on VGC. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick has accused Sony of trying to sabotage Microsoft's takeover and claimed that PlayStation chief Jim Ryan has stopped talking to both Activision and Microsoft.
Of course he has.
PlayStation ain't getting them marketing rights again, are they? After their deals up, whether they're bought or not. You're upsetting
the thing
Bobby.
Is, BMG, right? You say that, right? But like, if PlayStation pony up the cash, that marketing deal again, of course they'll have it. You know, all they care about is money. You know, at the end of the day, the deal fails. Like,
to be fair, the deal fails. They need some money to start because their stock's going to bottom out. So they'll take every deal. Every single game from Activision will suddenly become exclusive to some console, or like Amazon will have one of them. Someone else will have one because they'll need the money. Because all the stockholders are like, look at this. And
Tencent is going to grab it if Microsoft doesn't get it.
And that'll be fine. There'll be absolutely no complaints there.
Yeah. You know what, though?
I bet Microsoft will end up giving more money at it.
You know what this whole deal makes no.
Would though.
I think
I feel like
let me jump out.
It's like if they don't get it, they'll just move on to something else.
Well, I don't understand why everyone's so pissed about this, because it's like Microsoft didn't go to Xbox saying, "Hey, we want to buy you." You know, ABK went to Microsoft, and yet everyone's acting like Microsoft is fucking sneaking in the window, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna buy you or else." It's like, no, they went to Microsoft, and it's like, okay, so you got Bobby Kotick, who's the worst CEO in history, and he tells a female employee that he's gonna have her killed, you know, and so you have Jim Ryan.
What?
It's like I actually posted that in a Twitter thread yesterday that he told a female employee like a decade ago he was going to have her killed. So it's like, okay, Jim Ryan, you're flying around, you know, it's like you're flying around the world. You're stopping Bobby Kotick from making $68 billion. One of these days, he's going to be sitting in your office with the lights off, smoking a cigarette, waiting for you to come in the morning. Watch this guy. He's dangerous. It's like, just let the deal go through. Get Call of Duty on PlayStation. Everyone will be happy. Don't stop Bobby Kotick from making almost $70 billion because he's not going to take it lightly. With that female, he told her he was going to do it. With Jim Ryan, he's probably going to do it. You know, I mean, the whole thing is a fucking mess. It's like, CMA, what the hell are you doing, you know? It's like, oh, we're just doing it. We're just looking out for, we're just looking out for the gamers. How the fuck are you looking out for the gamers? It's like Microsoft already said Call of Duty would be on PlayStation for the next 10 years. You know, I mean, look at Minecraft. It's not an Xbox only. It's like, CMA, what the hell are you doing? You know what? How about this? Let me check your bank accounts and all the deposits you've had over the last 9 months. I guarantee there's going to be something that's a little off. It's just the whole situation is just completely out of control. It went from being something that should have been simple to just this big-ass clusterfuck. And now everyone is like, why is this taking so long? It's just an entire fucking mess is what it is.
The thing is, right, we may as well talk about this CMA stuff now since it's coming out and it's going to boil over no matter what. I was trying to save it to the end, sort of.
Do you not want to talk about Pikmin 4, Ash? I'm dying to talk about Pikmin 4.
Talk about all those games that got shown that were originally should have been on Xbox, like Octopath Traveler 2 getting a demo on Nintendo Switch.
That's a sore one. That's a sore one.
It off of Xbox, literally. We had one. They've took it away and gone, here, PlayStation, you can have that instead. You haven't even got the first one. You have that.
They didn't even give the first one to PlayStation. It's like, nope.
And also,
everyone can have it.
What was that other one? Sea of Stars. Release date announced after saying available on all platforms.
All platforms, yeah. And I think someone like tweeted them saying, "What about Xbox?" Like, we've got nothing to announce. And I was like,
"Did you see that guy post underneath it where he photoshopped all the images and it's like on all platforms except Xbox?" And it's like, "Fuck you, Xbox fans and stuff." And then he sent it to the official page. And like, I don't even remember what game it was. I must have missed that on I think it just blended into the sort of 2D RPG-esque games on that Nintendo. That was what it was. That was the 2D RPG Nintendo Switch Direct last night. We had the farm one before, farming sim game.
Oh, that was my favourite, Ash.
That was just farming game. Like if you like Animal Crossing, you will look like Randy Marsh in that South Park episode over that.
What's the next theme? You know, we've had the farming simulator arc. We've had that arc, and during the Summer Games Fest, it was the sci-fi horror.
Third-person dark grey sci-fi arc.
What's the next one, do you reckon?
I've just seen loving BMG's tag name, BaldManGamer, Jimmy Ryan's nephew. But yeah, no, I don't know what the next arc will be because it's like movies. You know, like when you got what was it, that tap dancing blooming penguin one and the other one at the same time, Happy Feet and that other penguin.
Oh yeah.
So they come in waves, don't they? It's like they all suddenly get the same idea and they pump them out. Same with games. We have this like massive wave, a tidal wave of the same shit. Well, kart races will be next. We'll have the kart racing, which we'll all be happy with. But...
Gears of War kart racing with the chainsaws on the front of the.
Do you know what? Right, if Microsoft did that, do you know what they need to do? Just do a kart racing game, but use the little warthog style thing from Fortnite and that style. It'd look amazing. Yeah. I would buy that day one if they brought out an Xbox kart racer. You can have like Banjo, you can have Master Chief, you can have Gears, you can have like a Sea of Thieves pirate ship with some either floating or with some wheels on.
But the way Xbox has been, they're going to be like, guess what? We now have this kart racing game that you want, but it's a graphic novel. And you're like, wait, what? What the fuck are you talking about? It's like, who the fuck wanted that shit? I know. I'm sorry. I already blew my my quota for today, so we're probably gonna get cut off at 40 minutes. I apologize.
Oh no, we're not going to make those pennies off of YouTube tonight. Oh god damn it!
Redditors will be like, "What the fuck happened on the show?"
When the channel shut down.
My bad. It was BMG. It wasn't me.
Also, a big shout out to everyone who's watched my new operating systems review on YouTube. For some reason, that shit's blown up, and I don't know why. It's like the weirdest thing. I did this sponsored review for it's like an operating system. So you've got like Paint and a calendar and a to-do list. For some reason, people keep watching it on YouTube. So big thank you to all you people pumping out those views. I'm like 850 views at the moment. It just keeps going. It's great.
Wow. Very nice. I'll have to check it out.
That's it. Then I pick a game. I'm like, people will love this game. I get like 3 views. I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, Ask for Gears kart racing game gets Banjo Tooie 2. Do you know what? We'll take it. We need Banjo Nuts and Bolts 2. Like, Nuts and Bolts wasn't a bad game. The problem with Nuts and Bolts is people wanted Banjo Kazooie 3. And they waited, and then Rare teased it and gave them something else. Whereas now, if you said, we're doing a Nuts and Bolts 2, people would accept it and it'd be fine. So, Nuts and Bolts 2, and at the end, tease Banjo 3, and everyone will be happy. So,
I do think if the acquisition goes through, they'll get Toys for Bob and a Banjo remake.
That's it. No, I don't want Toys. I know Toys for Bob need to do a plastic toy game Banjo, but it's not just Banjo. No. You get Crash Bandicoot.
You want Skylanders?
Spyro. Yeah, like Skylanders or Disney.
Disney. Yeah.
All of Xbox's properties. Do you know, Nintendo had those little plastic crappy figures that are expensive as hell. And they give you like an extra costume. Yeah, but they give you like nothing in game or fast travel in Zelda, which is shocking. But they should.
It'd be short lived. Xbox only have like 3 or 4 different characters, don't they?
They won't when they've got Activision and they own Crash and Spyro. If they'll just they've got 2 big pockets.
What's that guy's name? Is it Michael Pincher, whatever his name is? Did an interview. Pacta Pincher. Did an interview, was it yesterday or this morning? He still says he thinks it's 98% that it's going to go through.
You know what that means, though, don't you, BMG? If Pacta says it, it's not happening. He's notorious.
He's screwed as all.
Mr. Pacta. That wouldn't fill me with any confidence whatsoever, BMG.
Oh, it's like it's.
We need to get Luke on to tell us the percentage.
Well, I don't think he's in chat anymore. I think he's gone, or he's lurking. But
yeah,
Luke, tell us the percentage. There you go.
Sub 20.
That's just full of shite.
Well, Luke, what's the percentage?
We're waiting, Luke. You're putting dead air on Luke.
I think I'm behind. I think I'm behind you. I don't know what's up. I'll let me jump out and try and jump back in. Go and give the dog a kick. That might fix it.
Here we go.
I can't even see that message from Luke.
Minus 45%.
Wow.
Those are good odds. Those are good odds.
Yeah.
If I was a betting guy. Hold on, I'm just going to go and get my Activision stocks.
That's time to buy in now while it's high. But that's this stuff from the CMA. They basically was it like initial findings sort of thing. Yeah. They finally published it. You can read it in full. I believe it's like 240 something pages. So I haven't read it because I don't care. Like it's either one way or another. I'm either going to play some games on Game Pass or I'm going to play some other games on Game Pass. Like it don't bother me.
The thing is, and I am hesitant to say this when we do have an M&A lawyer in the chat. Obviously, Luke knows his shit. But from what I read, there wasn't really anything that was different to anything they've said initially. Like, it's very much largely the same concerns that they reiterated from the very beginning before they went to a phase 2 investigation. That they've got concerns that it would give Microsoft an unfair advantage, effectively. So nothing they said was really a surprise if you just have read or listened to anything that they've said up until this point. I don't know how much you want to get into it, Ash, to be perfectly honest, but it's not looking good.
Like I said, this is
current situation.
This is the first thing, and if we come back and it's just as bad, then we've got to really worry that it's not going through. Like, everyone's going to dump on them now. FTC, CMA, EU is probably going to dump on them, and then they've got to come back and say, well, we'll do this. And then if they accept it, fantastic. If not, then that's where the real issue is. But even like I say, for me, I'd like them to own Activision just because I feel like we might get some of those old franchises back. But I don't care for COD. I don't care for the mobile side. But
there's a lot better companies out there that they could own.
Yeah,
and it pisses me off that this is still going on. It's like, me personally, I don't care if those titles come to Game Pass. I don't care if we share those with PlayStation. It doesn't bother me at all. It's just that this is clogged. It's kind of like, the person in line that's standing there with like 50 fucking coupons at the register, and you're like, just hurry the hell up and get out of the way. That's what's going on right now. It's like, get out of the way so they can focus on EA or Ubisoft or someone else, because we didn't even want Activision
to big publishers. This is what I mean. Like, They literally, in my opinion, is they missed out on Crystal Dynamics because of this Activision deal.
Because that would have been great.
Crystal Dynamics would have been a much better buy,
and they're already working on Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
it just makes sense.
And then Bracer were laughing to bank. They spent $300 million on all those IPs and stuff, and then flogged Tomb Raider alone for like $700 million to Amazon. So Bracer are literally
That was Krona, just for the record, Ash. the 600 million was Krona, so that was more like 50, 60 million USD.
That's not as good then. Is it?
So they didn't double the money, but I guess it shows the IP holds some weight, and I think I'm personally of the opinion I would rather they spend that money on other studios, smaller studios, like Certain Affinity or Remedy, studios of that ilk. But I mean, I still really want Diablo and Game Pass, man. Like that's where that's what I want.
All those games being in Game Pass, like, at all. But for me, it won't make that much difference. They're still going to come out. We're still going to play them on Xbox. It just means I'm going to get half my content cut because it's exclusive to PlayStation with their dirty practices. So, I mean, that's it. I'm still going to get to play the base game.
I think a lot of people are a little too emotionally invested in this one transaction. I think a lot of it comes down to just I don't know what it is. What was it? It was just yesterday the provisional fines came out, wasn't it? And Twitter was a bit of a mess. Quite literally, Twitter was a mess.
Yeah, Twitter broke itself. They added like a bookmark option and broke the rest of Twitter.
Yeah, it absolutely shit the bed.
You're not allowed to you've done too many posts today, and it's like the limit's 2,400, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, so it was obviously a very a difficult day yesterday, especially for someone like Luke, who obviously lives and breathes this sort of thing on a daily basis, and seeing kind of the people calling out Rishi Sunak and people like that as if he's got like some sort of investment in this particular deal. I just want it over and done with at this point, one way or the other. I honestly couldn't give a shite at this point if it goes through or not. I'm looking forward to the day it's over, and part of me does think part of me kind of does think it will probably be good if it did fail, and then Microsoft have got $70 billion to hopefully go and invest in their own studios, in other smaller studios that I think would be a better investment. Not that I think this would be a bad investment, because the potential is huge there, but just me personally, I'm not going to benefit from it. I don't play COD. Overwatch is free to play. I would save some money because I'll play Diablo and Game Pass. I'm with you though, Ash. I'd like to see the likes of StarCraft come back. That's the hope.
And Guitar Hero, but done nicely, like not every year, just like one off or something.
Yeah. But there's no guarantee that's going to happen, you know. We can hope and dream that things like that happen, you know. Like maybe Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
maybe the finally go back to that.
Backwards compatibility, like all those backwards compat games that they've never bothered to do. Maybe we would get another one-off dump of like Activision backwards compat games, or even at least remasters. Some I'd take it. That's all I want.
You know, it's like I completely agree with that because you got games like the True Crime series that they were on the original Xbox, they're on PS2. A lot of people liked them back in the day. I think it would be an interesting addition, but if the Activision thing doesn't go through, I don't ever see that happening. You got Tony Hawk, you got Guitar Hero, you got Prototype, you got all these other Activision IPs that are just shelved right now because their primary concern is Call of Duty. Everything is Call of Duty. You have 4 different huge studios under the Activision banner, all working on Call of Duty. That's absolutely ridiculous. You know what? And it's like
all been working on Halo if they came to Microsoft.
Oh, Jesus! You know what they just? You know what they should do? They should just say, hey, you know what? One of these studios will help 343. The rest of you guys can make other games. And we'll give Call of Duty a rest for a while because it's like I even like Call of Duty and I'm tired of this shit.
I hope if it does go through and they offer that 10 years commitment for the next 10 years, COD will be the same. I hope they shelve that fucker for like 5 of those years and take a good long time to make another COD. So there's only one of them.
Right.
So
what they do, Ash, the Call of Duty gets sunsetted and they release a new IP, which is Call of Duty.
That's it.
The new favorite. No, what they actually do is they buy the IP of what the fuck was it called? What was the other Medal of Honor? They buy the Medal of Honor IP, rebrand COD Medal of Honor, and there you go.
It's exactly the same game. Looks exactly the same, but they slightly change everyone's name slightly. Like I can never remember people's names. It's like
Captain Price is one.
Price. So we'll call him like Pace or something like that. And all the same voice actors, basically the same story and stuff, but it's not called COD. It'll be something else. Or just spin off them. Like we said mainline Call of Duties, we didn't say spin off. So this isn't this brand new game, this isn't Call of Duty, whatever it is. This is like Tales from the Call of Duty lands. Or you say you're getting Call of Duty, and so PlayStation gets its Call of Duty, but it's a Call of Duty kart racing game, and that's all they get. That's it.
Nice.
but I'm a petulant child, so if I owned $1 billion company like that, that's the fuck I would do, just for shits and giggles. But hey,
yeah. But the thing is, like, nothing's really going to change, even if the deal does go through. Like Call of Duty's still going to have a bajillion studios working on it at any one time. It's still going to be exactly the same. The only difference is it might launch in Game Pass eventually, and it won't have. And eventually, it won't have the PlayStation exclusive betas and all that shite. But ultimately, nothing will change. They're not going to take studios off Call of Duty. I was like, as much as I would like to see them put some resource that they currently got on Call of Duty towards other things, they're not going to do that. Like Call of Duty's an absolute money-making machine. Yeah, like it's successful on an annual basis, and so they would have to keep that up. Otherwise, they've got they might be in a little bit of trouble. So, not much is going to change if it goes through or it doesn't go through. Like I say, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you don't lose out on anything. You might not gain anything like you expected, but. Yeah, I think there's a little bit too much emotional investment in this deal floating around on both sides.
On Xbox, like PlayStation's got Toy Story 2. Why can't I have Toy Story 2?
Yeah.
Gatekeeping. PlayStation. Jim Ryan is gatekeeping Toy Story 2 from me, and it's your fault, BMG. Tell your uncle or whatever he is. Tell him I want Toy Story 2.
Just talk about Call of Duty. Insider Gaming's just posted an article. There's been a lot of confusion about Activision's next entry into the Call of Duty franchise of late, but Insider Gaming has been able to verify with its sources that there will be a fully fledged Call of Duty 2023 title. Previous rumors have suggested that the game will be premium DLC for Modern Warfare 2, and all that appears to have been true at one point. Insider Gaming understands that the project changed direction to become a full premium standalone release planned for 2023, which will also come with early access. It's going to have, it'll have a beta, campaign, early access, and more. So there we go. It's an actual full game, not a side content that we previously thought. That Dracian Schreier actually said, didn't he? He said it was going to be like an expansion to Modern Warfare 2, but Insider Gaming says otherwise. And Tom Henderson's normally quite bob on with stuff, so...
and also predicting that there's going to be another Call of Duty this year is not the most outlandish of predictions that someone can make as well. You know, obviously Schreier's reports normally generally quite good, and things can change. But yeah, a Call of Duty this year would not surprise me in the slightest. That's just because they've got so many bloody studios on it. And like I said, that's not going to change if Xbox acquire them. I know a lot of people would like to think that it might, but that wouldn't change. They couldn't change it.
Yeah.
But
at least we know it's an actual game now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like the idea of it being like a premium DLC. Why not? Why not?
Because premium DLC doesn't go for $70, Ash.
No, that's true. But I really enjoyed and liked what they did with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the way they did their DLC plan, where they did like a season pass and then a big chunky DLC and then loads of free stuff. That's how these sort of live servicey style games should be. Little chunks every now and again. But yeah, hey, looks like we're going to all have to buy another £70 game. It's your uncle's fault. We'll all have to pay full price at £70 now.
No.
Yeah, your fault.
Uncle Jimmy and Uncle Bobby aren't on the best of terms right now. So
no, he's not.
Uncle Phil's going to have to step in.
To be fair, it wouldn't surprise me if Bobby's not shit in a bag and lit it outside fucking Jim's door or something like that. I'll teach you.
You just see Jim sat there, the phone's rings like, no, I'm not answering it. No. Piss off, Phil.
Is he still being bought by that Phil? No, I won't answer it.
No.
I didn't realize King Charles owned PlayStation these days. He became very posh all of a sudden. I'm pretty sure Jim Ryan's from my neck of the woods. I'm pretty sure he's from up north, if I remember rightly.
Is he?
Oh. Jim's cut him off.
That's it. Jim Ryan strikes again.
He's like,
wow.
Don't tell me where I'm from. Duff.
Uncle Jimmy got you, Scott. He got you.
Apologies. He did. He heard us talking about him. Pulled my Ethernet cable out, the bastard.
Oh my god. Oh, I am having a look for stuff. Oh, I can't remember what we talked about last week, to be fair. I wasn't really paying any attention, so I apologise, everyone.
I wasn't here last week, so I can't remember.
You didn't miss much. You just missed sort of like Redders at a solid 2 enthusiasm last week, pushing them out for the team. Apparently, Ubisoft Plus is coming to the Xbox, and it'll feature over 60 games, and everyone here probably owns about 55 of them already. But apparently, the scanners have picked up there's been a tag added to all of these games. So True Achievement have managed to pick up a ton of them, as well as DLC. Now the DLC is interesting. However, stuff like Assassin's Creed, I bought them because they've been on. Half of them were free on Games with Gold. Yeah. And the other half have been at £1 in a sale for the last 6 years. Every week there's a Assassin's Creed or a Ubisoft game in the sale. I'm not going to read all of them out, but they include all of the Assassin's Creed, pretty much all the all the Far Cries, the modern ones from 3 onwards, loads of Tom Clancy games, Watch Dogs, stuff like that. Who's going to sign up for this on Xbox? I don't know who this is for, because everyone's played these to death.
Kids that are 8 years old
have come to Game Pass. So what's the point in this?
kids that are like 8 years old that are just starting to play this shit.
Maybe.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Because, like you said, everyone else has played this. Most of us own all these Ubisoft titles. Yeah,
it's just weird.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I think with Ubisoft Plus, if I remember correctly, though, it does include like new games day and date. So it would include
Ubisoft Plus. It's like there's Ubisoft Plus, and then there's like Ubisoft Plus 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 Plus, which gives you the new games. There's 2 tiers of it. So
is there?
There's like a cheap tier, and then there's like the higher tier with the new releases in. Yeah, so they haven't said if it's one or the other, or it's just being called Ubisoft Plus, and it includes the new games, because we don't technically know what it is, because they announced it like a year and a bit ago, and then just sort of forgot about it. It was like GoldenEye coming soon, and then it's still not here yet. So
because on PC, Ubisoft Plus is on PC already, and I think there's only one tier on PC, and that's the one. I think it's like 13, 14 or 15 quid a month, and that gets you the game releases day and date. So the newest next Assassin's Creed. I honestly don't see too much of a market for this personally, as you say, Ash. But would you guys like Ubisoft? I'm definitely not the target audience for this. I don't play Ubisoft games. I think they're all honestly a bit uninspired and void of any creativity. But Valhalla, well, whatever the next, what is it, Mirage? The next Assassin's Creed comes out.
Looking forward to that one, definitely.
Would you, if there was Ubisoft Plus and Mirage launching a day and date, would you subscribe to it to play that, or would you just buy it?
Just buy it.
I don't know, because it's not going to be massive like Valhalla, so it's not going to be like 200 hours. I'd probably subscribe for a month to play it, but then they're losing out on money, because I wouldn't keep subbing, because I own every Assassin's Creed game bar one now.
Yeah. But then you'd subscribe again for the next one, maybe? Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. It's hard to say, because like, I'm hyped for it, but it depends how much it is, depends what it includes. I'm just having a look on their website quickly, like the Ubisoft Plus. You are right, it is only one, and I'm sure that at one point there was 2 tiers, but maybe they changed that.
Yeah, I think there was rumors of there being, because you know how you got EA Play, so EA Play has 2 tiers on PC, I believe. So you've got EA Play, which is the one that comes with Game Pass Ultimate, which is the cheaper one with like a back catalogue, and then you've got whatever the upper tier of that is, which comes with the games day and date. I think there was rumors, or even something like a survey that came out from Ubisoft, where they were saying like, "Oh, would you like this?" and they had like examples, and I could see like a back catalogue one working if it was a little bit cheaper for someone who hasn't played an awful lot of Ubisoft games, who maybe is interested in Assassin's Creed but hasn't had a chance to play because they're relatively new, and that's the kind of thing that maybe could come bundled with Game Pass Ultimate at a later date, possibly. But yeah, I don't think it's available at the moment, and yeah, but the question is, though, gents, obviously you guys are Ubisoft fans, you guys like their games, and would any of you genuinely, if this came out tomorrow, would you subscribe at 13 quid a month?
No.
Possibly, depending on what games. If it was that list of games, I wouldn't rush.
Yeah.
But like, there is stuff I'm interested in. Like, they have some all right stuff. Like, I'm looking. This is just based on the PC one.
Yeah.
It's $12.99 a month. You get the new releases. You get all the season pass and expansions. They've also started adding like select indie games on there as well.
Yeah.
And you also get like extra stuff, like extra crud. Like you get costumes, you get this, you get that, you get the other. So it just depends. Like I probably wouldn't go next day if it just came out and it was extra to Game Pass, because right now, like I say, I own all the Ubisoft games I really want, because I keep picking them up in massive sales, and Ubisoft games drop in value like next week.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
50% off. But when a new game comes out, I would possibly subscribe for a month or two, like I say. But I'm looking like they've put a fair few decent games on it on PC. They've got like Lake, Calico, Deadly Days, Fell Seal, Absolute Drift, stuff like that. There are some cool little bits added to it. So it all depends. Like, are we getting this version? I like that the PlayStation's getting all like the retro stuff. To be fair, I'd like to see something like that come as well. Like you're seeing. Now,
Ubisoft
apparently,
Classics.
the rewards you get, in-game rewards, you have to be subscribed. Like, you get some at 1 month, some at your 2nd month, some at your 4th month, and then some at your 7th month. So you have to continue your subscription on the PC to get all of your rewards. So it's hard to say. I'd like to say no, but I haven't played Far Cry 6 either, so maybe I would just subscribe to and play Far Cry 6.
But you could probably pick up Far Cry 6 for next to nothing these days, couldn't you? BMG, would you subscribe?
I do like Ubisoft games, but the only games I'm really interested in is Assassin's Creed. I would, if it dropped in day one, I would subscribe, I would get it, and once I was done with the game, I would cancel and then resubscribe when the newer games dropped. But I like Ash. I own all the Assassin's Creed games, so I'd also want to own that as well, or own these, however you want to look at it.
It's £13, but you only pay £11 for Game Pass Ultimate. That's a big thing. You get EA, you get all the Game Pass, and you get your Xbox Live Gold for less than what this could possibly be charging. I mean, we don't know that, but if it's the same,
and if you guys aren't convinced, like you guys, like what for someone like me who doesn't really play Ubisoft games or hasn't for a long time, this is. I don't know. I guess who's the target audience for it? Is it people like yourselves? In which case, you guys have already played so many of them that the back catalogue doesn't offer too much, or is it people like me who aren't really interested in Ubisoft games, but then I'm not going to subscribe because I'm not interested?
It's for those who don't play a lot of Ubisoft games or don't play a lot of games, and maybe money's tight. Like, this is the time when subscription services in gaming should be flourishing because money's tight everywhere. We're all getting absolutely bent over by our bills and stuff, and our electricity, our gas, our fuel, our food prices. If you can pay 11 to 13 quid a month and get a load of free, should I say, games for a small fee, it makes sense. Especially like kids. Like, if I was going to get my kid a console, like when he was older, say he was like teenage, I'd buy him a console, and I wouldn't buy him new games. I would just stick him Game Pass, and I would probably get him Ubisoft. And that's what, like 20 odd quid a month, less than a new game every month, and he has hundreds he can play.
Yeah, but even as a Ubisoft fan, I wouldn't pick Ubisoft over Game Pass. You look at the quality.
I'm not saying that, but
but
if you didn't have any, then combined wouldn't be bad as such.
But then you're paying over 20 quid a month for subscription, and that's the problem with subscription service, isn't it? You've got it the same thing with Netflix and Prime and things like that. They offer value by themselves. But then if you're paying 50 quid a month in subscription services and you're going to barely play anything that's on there, in Ubisoft games, you could pay 13 quid for a month and you could probably just play one game. Like Valhalla, what have you guys put into that game? Like 200 hours or something like that?
180 so far, but I've got
not far off.
50 to go for the last DLC.
Like, you could just get that one game and be done, and then you've got free-to-play games, Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, Halo. You got all these free-to-play games that you don't need gold for now. You don't need Game Pass. You can get a Series S and play that. I'm just struggling to see the market for it. But there must be one, because it's on PC. It's on Amazon Luna, of all things. So they must have some data that says, look, people want this. Otherwise, they wouldn't be bringing it, I suspect.
I think people would have wanted this 8 years ago. Because and this is coming from a guy who's been a Ubisoft fan since 2010, 2011. It seems like all their best games are behind them, and I look at what they have in the future, and I'm not excited about any of it. I know I mentioned Far Cry 7 previously, but it's like Far Cry has kind of backed itself in a corner where they're going to have to completely reboot the franchise. If you haven't played Far Cry, spoilers, but Far Cry 5 sees the apocalypse happen. Far Cry New Dawn is after the apocalypse. And then Far Cry 6 takes place on a little island where, they're isolated from the rest of the world. So they're going to have to reboot that. You look at Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's not as good as Wildlands. You look at Watch Dogs Legion. A lot of people didn't like that, said Watch Dogs 2 was phenomenal. So with all of these franchises that Ubisoft had, and they could have supported 8 years ago, a service like this, now it's just not worth the money. Because it feels like all across the board with every Ubisoft franchise they have. It's going downhill in quality, and that's because of the leadership. They have to clean out the leadership if there's going to be any hope with this country or in this company. Because right now in Ubisoft, it feels like the boss has no idea. He doesn't have a good vision for the future, and they're chasing trends instead of setting trends. And that was said by one of the Ubisoft employees. They said we should be setting trends, not chasing trends. And it just feels like Ubisoft's future is bleak. So it's like, if it was bright and they had tons of games coming, I'd say, yeah, I'd subscribe to this, but they don't. And that's why I wouldn't.
I mean, what games have they got, Sentinel? You know, we know they've got the Splinter Cell remake. We know they've got Assassin's Creed. We know they've got Far Cry.
Yes.
What else?
The Crew 3, they said that one's coming.
Yeah, I mean, Skull and Bones.
But that one got delayed again.
Yeah, there's literally, in my opinion, nothing exciting. Sorry, with the exception of Splinter Cell, I really can't wait for that remake.
You're not excited by the Prince of Persia remake that looked like shit.
You mean the one that got canned and rebooted, or a different one? Because I think there was like 2 of them or something.
There's Beyond Good and Souls 2. There's Beyond. What is it? Beyond Good and Evil is what it is. Beyond Good and Evil 2. But it's in developmental hell. No one knows where the hell it is. They showed.
Was that the game that
they've said?
Yeah,
they showed it 5 years ago, and we haven't heard anything since.
Sentinel, was that the one that they showed off at E3 when they had that? What's the guy that plays the copper Robin in Batman, Joseph Gordon-Levitt or something? Is that the one where he had that like thing where people could contribute to the game? They could create assets for it and things like that. Was that Beyond Good and Evil?
I don't remember.
Yeah, so if anyone remembers in chat, let me know. Yeah, but is anyone excited for that game anymore, considering how long it's been in development and how little we've seen of it?
I was excited when they announced it because it didn't look anything like the original. The original was like unique at the time. It looked good and like it had a cartoony art style. And then they went like super hyper realistic, and that just was like
but at this point, it's going to become an MMO at this rate. You know, it's just going to become an MMO,
an NFT game next.
So, there you go.
The battle royale.
Yeah,
but shit like hyperspace and things like that. Like that, going to the point, I think when you guys mentioned a quote from one of the staff, which is about chasing trends and like Hyperscape's just a perfect example of like Ubisoft just trying to get involved in that. And if Tom Henderson's reportings to be believed, when they went through that period where they basically canned a few unannounced titles, he was reporting that they cancelled, or they had at one point like 13 Battle Royale games in active development at any one time. And it's just like, what the fuck are they doing over there? Like, you're creating that many Battle Royales. The Division, you've got the Division 2, which, to be fair, I like the Division games, but then you've got, is it Wildlands or Heartlands or something? You've got the free-to-play one. They're creating a mobile one. And, I mean, there's just very little exciting about anything that Ubisoft are creating. And because of that, despite the fact I'm super excited for a Splinter Cell remake, because it's the one thing that would get me excited from Ubisoft, because it's Ubisoft making it, I've got very little excitement for it. So
Splinter Cell is their Jedi Fallen Order. And I use that as a reference because you remember before Jedi Fallen Order, EA was dissing single-player games all the time. Everybody was pissed. They were going downhill. But after Jedi Fallen Order, Respawn showed that EA still cares about single-player games, and they started coming back uphill. I think that's where Ubisoft is right now. They're still going downhill, but once Splinter Cell comes out, if it is a single-player game and tons of people flock to it, they're going to be like, shit, all these NFTs and all this other stupid stuff that we're doing, we need to stop that, and we need to start focusing on single-player games, and they can bring it back up if they pay attention, you know? Because we've been asking about Splinter Cell for years. When was the last one? 2013, right? It was Blacklist.
Blacklist, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's been asking for it ever since then, and they didn't make a game, but now they are. So I think...
They canceled the VR version they announced as well recently. I'm sure.
Yeah. But hopefully this will be their Jedi Fallen Order moment where they can finally say, hey, this works, let's do more of this, and they start coming back uphill. If they do that, I think that the Ubisoft, Uplay, Uplus, whatever their service is called, that it could work because people will actually be optimistic about the future of Ubisoft.
Yeah. But will they, Sentinel? You know, will they get to the point where it's successful enough that allows them to justify that change in direction?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not too sure. So yeah,
hopefully.
And plus, when that was announced, like 2 years ago now, it sounded like it literally just started sort of the very early beginnings of development at that point. So even when is that going to come? Like 2026?
Yeah,
you know, something we've heard nothing. So yeah,
fingers crossed, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man, I honestly, Sentinel, I hope that game's good, man. I hope that game's good.
Yeah, me too.
Oh. Yeah, so
just gonna have Metal Gear Solid remake. The better game. Splinter Cell was just riding Metal Gear's what was it? Coattails, whatever they say.
Do you know what? Metal Gear
wants Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell's boring.
Yes, Ash.
Metal Gear is the best.
It's not that good. Like you must. People wear like
it's on PlayStation. It released on PlayStation. I can't like
the best Metal Gear was on the GameCube. If you want to start.
Was that what was that? Twin Towers?
No, it wasn't.
Twin Towers.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Twin Towers. No.
Holy shit!
See, it was a bit. It was like a remaster in a sense, but it wasn't that good compared to the original and the stuff that they cut out of the GameCube version. The original was better. I've got me PlayStation 1 Classic and Metal Gear's on there. And it's just so many memories. So many memories. Looks awful. Looks absolute shite. But
right, Metal Gear 1 is a good game. Like it's like Metal Gear 1 on the PS1, Metal Gear Solid, not Metal Gears. The Metal Gears on the SNES weren't great. Metal Gear Solid 2, the first bit where you're in that boat is great, which was the demo basically, was awesome. And then it goes downhill as soon as it turns out it's not Snake. Spoilers to anyone who hasn't played this really old game. And then it just goes downhill because, like, Kojima goes into, like, absorbs into his own fucking world of I am creative genius. And it just gets more convoluted and fucking 17-hour cutscenes and over-the-top bollocks. And then he left, and then they made even worse Metal Gear games. So Metal Gear had like 2 decent games.
I agree, Ash. I agree.
Metal Gear Solid 1 is all right. Metal Gear Solid 2 is all right on Xbox because it has a skateboarding add-on. That's the best bit about it, where you can skateboard them. And then the GameCube one is really good because they put like the first person in and stuff like that, and they fixed a few things.
Hideo Kojima, he is the Japanese version of Neil Druckmann. Overrated. Sorry, Luke Steele.
Sentinel.
I know I'm playing with fire, but fuck it, bring it.
I like Kojima, and he has great ideas, and he's a good, like, coming up with the over sort of story and characters and stuff and all that jazz. But when you just let him do what he wants, you get shit like Death Stranding.
Well, yeah, and you remember the whole debacle about Metal Gear Solid 5 taking forever.
Yeah.
And he looks at Grand Theft Auto 5, and then he immediately becomes super depressed because he's like, how could I do that? And I'm like, well, you're good because you're not making a Grand Theft Auto game. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. He's like, I really want to make a Silent Hill game. I can't do that, but I've got Daryl on books already. So do you know what? Daryl, you're going to be a postman with a baby, and some goo's going to get you. And they're like, fine, whatever. And then Phil Spencer's like, shit, we need something. We need to pretend like we're really doing well. Come on, Kojima, he has loads of money. What he's going to make, it's going to end up being a mobile visual novel game that for some reason utilizes the cloud because they won't say no to him because they daren't say no to Kojima because he's such a big name. And he's gonna self implode into his own sort of grandeur, and it's madness. That's what it's going to be. We're going to get the weirdest bollocks on Xbox. Like, they're going to get Death Stranding 2, which will improve probably every single thing about Death Stranding. And then we're going to get this weird fucking passion project, which is going to take 20 years. It's going to come out on the Xbox 12, if we ever get that far. And it's just going to be a fucking mindfuck, because that's what Kojima does. Like, look at the Death Stranding director's cut. He looked at Death Stranding and he went, do you know what this needs? Needs some racetracks, So he put in loads of fucking racetrack.
That actually sounds better than the base game of Death Stranding that I've played.
But
I agree.
What else do I want? And do you know what? I'm going to advertise it by fucking going back to Metal Gear by putting him in a box.
I remember that now. I remember that, yeah.
And I mean, he's funny. I like Kojima, and I really hope whatever we get on Xbox is decent. I tell you what, though, his Silent Hill game would have probably been fucking immense because he would have been so weird and crazy. Yeah. It was a perfect franchise for him.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that too. Definitely.
We shall see.
Silent Hill 2 remake exclusive to PlayStation.
Yes.
At least timed.
Resident Evil 4
at least timed.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 remake's not exclusive. I don't think
so. Not.
No, I don't think so.
It shouldn't be exclusive. Neither of them should be. It should be Silent Hills on everything. You should play it on everything.
Yeah. I'd sacrifice the remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic so we got Silent Hill 2 because that game's
Don't you say terrible. That. Don't you say that. It's not going to be terrible. It's going to be brilliant.
It's already been canned once.
If it ever gets made. No.
They gave it
to Ubisoft.
They've given it to a studio that literally all they do is port retro games to modern consoles and don't do anything to them, basically.
Yeah, but Bluepoint Games is pretty good. I mean,
Star Wars Pod Racer and Stubbs the Rebel Zombie remaster.
On the Halo engine, that's great game, Stubbs. It's on the Halo engine.
Yeah,
but did you play the original?
Pardon?
Did you play Knights of the Old Republic, the original?
I do. I love the Knights of the Old Republic games, but I would happily let that company make a dog shit remaster and a remake on PlayStation exclusive forever if I could have had Silent Hill 2 on Xbox. I'm willing to make that deal with the devil. And do you know what? We need to say, no. We'll start stealing it. Phil needs to get in there. I want Resident Evil Code Veronica remake exclusive on Xbox. Come on, Phil. Dino Crisis. We had a Dino Crisis 4 on Xbox and it was shit. You spend some money. Everyone wants a Dino Crisis remake. It'd be fantastic.
Well, maybe not everyone, Ash.
Well, I do, and that's all that matters.
Well, 95% of people probably.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other 5%, they're just special. They're not worth listening to. They've got terrible choices in life, obviously. Turok's dead, Muppet. Activision killed Turok. We don't want Turok back. They can keep that.
Well, Turok on the Nintendo 64 was good. Turok that came out on the Xbox 360 was horrible. So no, you got to go back to the old feel. Don't try that new stuff.
There was one that came out PS2 and GameCube, and that was rubbish. There was the modern version, which wasn't great. And then the last one that came out was that Turok cartoony game, which they delisted it quicker than they had it on, basically.
Yeah, they're like, never mind, that's garbage.
Yeah, we've given up on this. Talking of dead games, we've just seen the week of game cancellations, the big Cull. One person said, I'm closing my servers down, and then literally every other company in the world went, no, we're shutting our live service games down. So we had Apex Legends and Battlefield Mobile have been cancelled, and they're going to get shut down. I'm trying to think what else. There was loads.
Ubisoft cancelled a few, but that was a week or so ago.
Yeah, there's been a few, and I don't know. I think they literally announced them all after last week's podcast, so we didn't get them on the show. But a ton of Crossfire X is getting shut down, or in May.
That deserved to get shut down. That game was.
Do you know what? It wasn't the worst game, but
come on, Ash! It was dreadful.
The Crossfire was dreadful, but it was great dreadful. But,
no, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. It was shite.
They're taking away if you paid for the single player campaigns any time over the last prior to the last 2 weeks, they're literally taking that content away from you.
That's bullshit.
You won't be able to finish it. You won't be able to access it, and they're not giving you a refund. They're only giving you a refund if you've literally just bought it.
Yeah, so it was in the past 2 weeks or something, wasn't it? So that is dreadful. That shouldn't be allowed. That should genuinely be like illegal somehow. Like you shouldn't be able to lock people out of single player content they've purchased. You know,
it's crazy, isn't it? Knockout City shutting down.
That's a shame.
A potential Titanfall single player campaign.
Wait, wasn't Knockout City that wasn't it that dodgeball game?
Yeah. It was really good fun as well.
Didn't they just release that like last year?
Right back off the publisher, didn't they? It was published by EA, and then the developers got the rights for it back after season 1 because EA dropped it because obviously it didn't hit target straight away. So EA were like, "No, we don't want it."
Yeah.
The developers have took it back, and I say that I think they're going up to season 6. There's been a lot of content. There's even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Bebop and Rocksteady DLC for it, which I didn't know existed.
Wow.
But it's been shut down and killed off.
At least one of the good things about that, Ash, is they are releasing private server support for at least the PC version.
Oh, that's good then.
Which is something.
This is what people
better
should
than nothing.
do. Like, I 100% support shutting down servers that aren't being used if you're having to pay for them as a company. But put the option in to either host it or have
P2P,
or private servers to keep it going. Like, look at all those games that have been resurging recently because people have created their own servers on them and stuff. Like, you can't take them away for good. Just do a little patch and spend some time and effort. If you're going to cull it off to save money, at least give us the option to keep playing what we've paid you for. Like, it's shocking that you can't do that.
But you agree to the agreement that comes up.
Oh, I 100% agree.
They have the right to pull it all and take it all away. You agree to it. If you choose not to read it and still invested money in it, then that's shame on you.
It's scummy though, isn't it?
Right?
It's still scummy.
We don't matter if we like it or not like it. We all agree to it in any game we play, whether it is
but you've got to agree to it to play the game. You've got no option. You either agree to it and play the game, or you don't agree to it and don't play the game. It's not like you've got a choice in the matter. You know,
you do. You just don't play the game. No one's forcing you to play the game. You agree whether it's single player game, whether it's any game, whether it's Game Pass or a game you buy. Say Hogwarts. If they decided tomorrow they're pulling Hogwarts off and take your access away, it's tough because you agreed to it. That is what they will do if they want to. It's shitty. Yeah. I hate it. It's bad, but it's something we all agree to. There's always the argument between Game Pass, MMOs, and buying your games. I want to own my game. Nobody owns their games anymore. You may have a physical disc and you own a physical disc, but doesn't mean you own the game. You rent a license until they decide they're taking it away, and they don't even have to give you notice. Rest in peace, Marvel's Avengers.
We're not saying
that is fair.
We're just saying,
but no, they shouldn't. They shouldn't be able to do that. Like, I understand BMG. We agree to it by whatever terms and conditions we agree to by playing the game, but we've got no choice. It's either you agree to it to play the games, or you never play any game these days. Yeah. So it shouldn't be allowed to do that. I'm with Ash. Like, feel free to take down the servers if they're not being used. For these older games. And I saw Thimber in chat mentioned. People didn't play the game and then complain when they take the content offline. There's a big difference between taking servers off, stopping multiplayer games, to completely removing access to single player content that should be completely playable without servers in the first place. And that is the bit that's complete and utter bullshit. I'm not going to worry too much about whether I can or can't play Rumbleverse online because I've not played it before. But Rumbleverse, at least they're doing the decent thing and they're refunding all purchases that anybody's made on that. With Crossfire, despite the fact I do think it was a whole heap and pile of shite, they're not. You paid for it, they're taking it away, and that shouldn't be okay. Even if we do agree to it, even if we do, it shouldn't. It is. It shouldn't be able to do that. So
it is.
But that is the world we live in. You're right. That's
every game.
That's how things are at the moment.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what game it is. Doesn't matter if you pay $70, £70 for your game, or you get it through Game Pass or PlayStation or Steam, Epic Store. Doesn't matter where you get a game anymore. you no longer own it. You lease a license until they decide to take it away on whatever game. And it's always still the argument, oh, no, I'll sooner buy my game than get Game Pass. I want to own it. No, but you don't own it. You lease it, like we lease games off Game Pass until they decide to take them away. And it's just it's a shitty world. It's shit. It's crap now that if I pay full price for a game, I should always have access to it. Yeah, if they shut servers down, you can have, say, like lobbies, private games. That's still running. Something like that offers something. But the fact is that whether we want to or not, we all agree that they can take it away at any point, and there's nothing we can do about it. They're well within the rights to do it, and I don't like it. I've got all the Assassin's Creed games. I bought them all, but I know at any time they could decide we're pulling it and denying you access to it, and they have the right to do that, whether I like it or not. And it's just the way it is. It's just the world we live in. It's like films, music now, they're all the same. Unless you have a physical DVD or Blu-ray, we're all mostly streaming. I don't really know anyone that actually watches Blu-rays or DVDs anymore. I think we all do streaming. You can buy, because I buy films off Amazon Prime, where if there's films that come on there first that I couldn't be bothered going to the cinema to watch, and it's come on there and I bought it. I know they can take access to that away from me at any point. If there's a licensing issue on their end, they can just pull it. Whether I bought it and paid full price for it or not, they can just take it. Same with music. You can have whatever music playlist. You've bought individual songs. I know people don't really do that now, but they can take them at any point. It's just that is the way the world works now. You don't own anything. You just rent it until they decide that they're taking it away, and it's crap.
Yeah, I think movies and music, though, and that's kind of one of the big differences between the games industry and other media is, movies, TV, music, you can forever have a copy of that, even if it's, taken down off Netflix. You can go and download it. The preservation of music and movies is a lot simpler than games, because you will forever be able to watch and listen to movies and music as long as you've got a device that plays it back. Whether you acquire those via legal means or not, you will be able to get a hold of those even if Spotify and Netflix shut down tomorrow. You will be able to watch them with Crossfire X and these other games. Once they're gone, they're gone, and that's it, unfortunately. So yeah, gaming is obviously unique in that sense.
Yeah.
Something else that's interesting that you talk about, the movies and the music, but with video games, it can go away tomorrow. You look at like Grand Theft Auto 4, you can still own the game as of right now, but because the licensing for the music in the game expired, they pulled a lot of those songs out and replaced them with newer songs. And I mean, it's like that's kind of something that we have to contend with in gaming anymore. It's like, with games with licensed music, I mean, if it expires, they're going to have to swap it out, and you're not going to have the original experience. Whereas if you bought it on the PS2 era or before, you're going to still have those. They can't pull that music, or they can't patch it. That's kind of the.
This is a problem they need to start dealing with licensing, though. They need to sort the licensing out. Why do the rights to putting a song in a game run out after 2 years? If the game's out, why does it matter?
You should own it forever.
Yeah, it should be in that game forever. If they've paid for those fucking music to be in the game, why isn't it in forever? And I understand there'll be contracts and stuff, but this is something that needs to change in the future for game preservation, licensing, like rights to cars and stuff like that. Look at even Death Stranding. It had monster cans in, and then they patched them out after a year or something. There's just weird stuff. Forzas get delisted because of their music and car licenses.
Yeah.
Why have they not got just a perpetual license for? They're not going to make any more money off it, but why hurt the consumers who've already fucking bought it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a weird, silly system, and I don't understand. It's above my care of thought. To me, if I'm making a game and I want a song in it, that fucking song should be in it as long as I sell the game. It shouldn't be like, oh, but after 6 months you've got to take that song out. What's the point in that? Now, Rock Band and stuff, I understand maybe a bit more, but it just confuses me basically.
Yeah. David Cohen said in chat, it says Xbox Live Gold might disappear forever since it's an awful service in terms of value. Game Pass is here to stay, and I'm perfectly fine with Game Pass. There's actually more, if I still believe there is actually more Xbox Live users than there are Game Pass users. The numbers are still quite far apart. I know what you mean as in what they're offering games with gold, but the whole idea of that is trying to push you on to Game Pass. And to say Game Pass is here to stay, we don't know that. Just because of current management and heads of the companies have it at the moment, who's to say the next CEO of Microsoft doesn't want it and wants to cut the losses? Nothing's here to stay forever. We don't know. We hope it is. We hope it's always going to be there, but there is no guarantees. Game Pass is the same as games. It could be pulled and gone at any point. Luckily Satya and Phil, they've worked out whatever they did and it's worked well for now, but whoever the next CEO of Microsoft Gaming is and whoever the next CEO of Microsoft is, they might look at things different and think, no, this doesn't work for us anymore, or it's hemorrhaging too much money, we're going to go a different direction, or be done with it altogether. We never know, because Microsoft, they've got the fingers in many pies, and Xbox is a very, very small part of Microsoft's overall business. So we hope it's here forever, but there is no guarantees in any of it. And I would think if say, in some whatever future that Xbox Game Pass goes, I think you would see the PlayStation subscription service follow it and go back to the old way of doing it if that was to ever happen. But I hope it doesn't happen, because I love Game Pass. I do.
I don't see a world where Game Pass disappears. I think, like, if you look at Microsoft as a company, they're a service company. Like, that's what one of the reasons Game Pass exists. Everything that they offer is a subscription. That's what they want. And Xbox kind of just followed suit a little bit. I could see it changing, though, BMG, to your point. If they decide maybe they don't put games in day and date, maybe they up the price significantly. I don't personally see a world, but, you're right. Things won't be around forever. Things can change very, very quickly if it doesn't ultimately make money for them, which is the whole bloody point of the thing. They're not going to keep doing it just for the, for us, just out of the kindness of their own heart, So.
But it's same with physical. When you're not safe if you buy physical either. There are games that literally cannot be played off of discs anymore because they need, like Tony Hawk's 5 needs a patch day 1, or you literally can only play this tutorial section. The rest of the game is download only. So even if you're a physical collector and you didn't download that patch before they shut all the servers down, you cannot play that game. I've literally got it installed. It's the worst Tony Hawk's game I've played in years, but I have it installed, and it's just because if you uninstall it, you can never update it again. So I've got it installed just in case I ever want to play it. And I shouldn't have to be like that. But that follows on to what I was going to talk about next, which was the 360 marketplace was rumored to be closing down. Because there was a post put up, an article put up on the help and support site stating that the 360 marketplace will be closing over the next year, and they're encouraging people to buy any games they want and DLC by the end of May. Now, they've come out and said this isn't the case. Microsoft just confirmed to Jamatsu, or however you pronounce that, it'll not close in May, and the message was posted in error. Why was there even a message typed up saying the Xbox store was going? Like, it's coming soon. And no offense, it happens. The Nintendo have shut down all their previous stores. They're shutting down the DS store April. PlayStation tried to shut the PS3 store down before they backed up against after getting attacked for it. But it's coming. They're all going to go in. There's not enough people buying games on the 360 store to warrant them having all the servers up all the time.
I'd love to know that number though, Ash, wouldn't you? I would love to see the figures, like the MAU of the 360
to this day.
At this point,
how many people still buy games on it? Like, I bet they still sell a bit. Do you know they do those sales and they do the 360 sales cheap? I bet there's still a handful that do sell.
Nah, that's just going to be people on Xbox One and Series X and S. That surely they can't. There must be about 4 people who are still using the 360 at the moment, isn't there?
Right, I don't mind them shutting the store down as long as they give, say, like 6 months' notice for anyone to sort of get the affairs in order, save some money up to buy what they want. But if they shut the store down, as long as I can download those games and the content after the store's shut, I'm fine with that. Like, if I haven't bought it now, I'm probably not going to buy it. Do you know what I mean? That's how I see it.
I get you when you say that, Ash, but it obviously does pose problems for game preservation. You know, if that's no longer accessible, especially considering the 360 is when we started getting to downloadable content only. You know, with Xbox Live Arcade and other games, they're just then, if you don't have them, you don't have them. They're inaccessible, and that's where things like emulation and things like that come in. You know, it was funny. I don't know if it was coincidence or not, but you had the Xenia. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, the 360 emulator is now on Series X and S.
Yeah,
and that's why those things exist.
Yeah. Now we've got to state that the Xenia emulator doesn't emulate very much. It emulates the GoldenEye version we never got perfectly. Like I've got that on my
the
Xbox.
One we should have got.
The one we should have got. The GoldenEye we deserved, but we got shafted because of Nintendo. It's great. It flicks between classic graphics and modern. Like I say modern, but because they were 360 graphics. But at the time, it was classic and modern graphics, like the Master Chief Collection does. It had proper online multiplayer and everything, and it was great. I've played it from pretty much start to about 5 or 6 levels in on my laptop. Ran great, but the Xenia emulator, other than that, it only has a handful of the sort of indie games off of the store. But it's a work in progress. If it can handle that, it can eventually handle everything. So I even saw that there's now a Dolphin app as well, so you can get Dolphin through RetroArt, but there's a better version now that's standalone, and it has all the UI and everything in it, and everything. It looks fantastic. I need to download that and have a try. So I hope the Xbox emulation, and like PS3 needs emulation desperately. Because
that's got to be emulated now, surely. Like
there's a few, like it is out there and it is working. Like I happen to have a what's it called now? It's not Killzone. What's that other one with all the blooming aliens?
But you know, obviously the PlayStation 3 games that you can play via the cloud through PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
those have got to be emulated.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's an emulator that exists.
Someone's just got to leak it, hasn't they? The problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm completely probably talking out my arse here, but I'm sure the reason that those games are cloud only is because they don't want people to get a hold of the emulator or the code that allows those games to be emulated. Obviously, if you allow it to be run locally, then someone could just pull that out tomorrow and there'll be a PS3 emulator on the internet within a couple of hours. But they've got to have one themselves, which would make sense, because they can't just have a bunch of PS3s and sell processors just on racks playing PlayStation 3 games, you know?
Yeah, so it must exist, but it's not. The PS3 emulator isn't perfect. That's available out in the wild.
Yeah,
it baffles me. If you're going to stop selling games, release them release an emulator so people can preserve them. Like, do the right thing. But there's no reason the Xbox store, the Series X store can clearly scrape the Xbox One and 360 store, bring them all the data and across. But for some reason, they're only doing it with select things. Like, why can't they just put everything on? This baffles me. Why can they only put certain games? Like, it's still the same game. It's still the same thing. It's still nothing's changed. The dev's still getting the same fucking money. It's not going to someone else. Why can't they just allow it all on? the PS2 allowed all the PS1 games. The Wii allowed all the GameCube games. Why can we suddenly not do that anymore? What happened to say no, that is it?
Money.
Well, yeah, clearly that's what it is. We're in the age of remasters and shit remakes and stuff. Like, why do they want to push that when they can do 3 copies of The Last of Us 1? Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably an argument to be made there as why would you let people play the older game when you can sell it for 60, 70 quid later on?
Last of Us Part 1 sales are up 230% since the TV show came out. That's why you do it. It's a business.
Yeah. But it's disgusting, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
Well, no, because if nobody bought it, they wouldn't do it. But people keep buying it, and it's bringing in new. If you want
to play Last of Us on your PS5, you can't, other than that copy that you have to pay for. You can't buy the Last of Us PS3 version.
No. The Last of Us Part 1 is actually in the PlayStation Plus subscription service.
But you have...
Not the PlayStation 5 version.
But it's cloud only.
PS4 version if you want to play that.
I don't think it's cloud only, Ash. I think
we heard about the PS4 version, not the PS3. I'm gonna
the remaster.
PS3 version without.
They made the PlayStation 5 version because they knew it would bring in new players and people into the ecosystem, which it has done. That's what it was aimed at. You look, after the very first episode of Last of Us, PlayStation were all over Twitter and social media. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. You can now get Last of Us Part 1 for the PlayStation 5. And their sales have just gone through the roof for it. Whether we agree that they should have it or not, but that game wasn't aimed at us or people that played the previous, played it previously. It's aimed at getting new people into the ecosystem.
Well, we talked
about Uncharted 4.
They delayed the PC port until the end of the TV show, miraculously.
Yeah. Oh, we've had to have it how that falls in.
It's now launching just as the TV show ends. What a shame! What a weird.
I'm a little torn about that because I've not played The Last of Us, so I was looking forward to playing the PC version when it comes out. But the TV show is obviously a fairly faithful recreation of the game's story, obviously in TV, largely speaking.
Yeah, there's a lot a bit different. The story.
It's not a Halo. Yeah. I guess is where they've completely taken the piss.
There's a lot of different stuff in the show that you don't see in the game, which gives you more depth and more background in other stuff, which you'd actually appreciate.
But is the story following the general path of the game so far? Would it be fair to say?
Yeah, so far, but with a few deviations. But
episode 3
stuff that's happened. Yeah. Oh, I can't go into that. No, because like with episode 3, what you see in the game, you don't get a lot of context of it. But what you see there, I would say personally, you would get a lot more when you play the game. If you watch the show and then play the game, you'll get a lot more context for the characters in game that you don't actually get. So I would personally watch the show and then play the game. And I think that would give you a lot more insight to different characters that you meet when you play. But there are a few deviations and differences. But
I guess my question was going to be, like, as someone who hasn't played the game, providing the TV show ends with the same ending as the game, does the game then lose some appeal? Because obviously a lot of that game is about the story it's telling. And if you know the story, you know how it ends.
Yeah.
Does that mean the game loses something?
But there's no guarantee that we know we're going to get the ending. We don't know what we're going to see. We don't know.
Fair.
But
I'm assuming it'll end the same way. Obviously, you're right, BMG. There's a chance it doesn't. I guess just with it being a relatively faithful recreation so far, I think the assumption is that it will follow the path of the game and maybe end in the same way. And then I'm wondering, like, at that point, do I still want to play the game if I know how it ends?
Yeah, again, you've got that, but the game obviously takes you to a few different places and different locations and do a few different things to get in between these places, because the show only shows you so much. It's the other stuff that happens in between where the game can fill in. So it's, you've got some of them TV shows where you watch the show and then a different episode shows you what happened between that to get to that point, which I think would fill in quite nicely. I think you should watch the entire TV series, then play the game, because it will fill in the gaps of the stuff that you didn't see. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the stuff between the TV show, the stuff that you didn't see, and how it diverts a bit as well. I would sooner do it that way. If I could, I think I'd rather have watched the show first than play the game, even though I've already played the game. I think I would have rather done it that way round. Just then, seeing stuff that you didn't see in the show because you go from one scene to another. And obviously, I won't say compare what has happened and not happened between the show and the game, because I wouldn't want to spoil it for anyone. But yeah, I'd still recommend playing the game, but I would wait after the show. And I think by delaying,
got no choice now, BMG.
Then, well, yeah. Well, you could always fire up the PlayStation 4 and play it on there, or the PS3, or
Oh, I've got this chunky boy that doesn't work.
Oh, right. Never mind. You have it sat there just to
next to my Series S.
But yeah, that is the better way of doing it. And yeah, the delay is clearly tied into the end of this TV show to then fire the PC version. It was going to happen. It's like Uncharted 4. They remade or remastered, however you want to phrase it, Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy as a package. And that game came out a week before the film, and the film kind of mixes all the games together. But the game offered you a free cinema ticket to go and watch the film at any cinema you want to go to.
Because the film is shit.
No, the film's good. The film's actually all right. It would have been better if it was Tom Holland.
Worse than the Halo TV show.
No, you know what? The film is fine The film is fine if you do not consider it to be Uncharted anything. Because if it's Uncharted anything, it's fucking horrible. But as a standalone movie, it's watchable once.
Did you ever watch Nathan Fillion got a few actors together and they did an actual, it was for about half an hour, wasn't it? 25 minutes, half an hour. Yeah. Because he wanted to play when they first started saying,
and it was tremendously better. It was tremendously better.
Highly recommend going watch it. Nathan Fillion being Nathan Drake. Absolutely brilliant. It's about 20 minutes. It's action packed. It's really, really good. Because he wanted to play Nathan Drake and they went with Tom Holland instead. See, the story of the film's good. It's just Mark Wahlberg shouldn't be in any films anymore. He's an awful actor.
Well, and my biggest complaint about that shit is that in the games, I mean, a big part of the games, Uncharted, is the chemistry between Nathan Drake and Victor Sullivan. In the movie, it's completely non-existent. They don't trust each other. It's complete bullshit. It's like, that makes no sense, because in the games, I mean, they're basically working like a tag team. In wrestling, where they know what the other is thinking, and they're working back and forth, and they can get out of crazy situations. This one, they're like two adversaries. They're basically like Stone Cold and The Rock, dogging each other. And it's like, you can't have Nathan Drake and Sully like that, because they were never like that, ever. So it's like the people that put together the Uncharted movie where they just weren't paying attention to the source material, and they said, let's just name this character Victor Sullivan and this character Nathan Drake, and it doesn't really matter how they are, because we're not paying attention to any of the games. We never played the games. We don't give a shit. And we'll just, we'll make $100 million on it. And it's like, that's the wrong answer. So at least with the Last of Us TV show, they give a shit about the source material.
I do like it, though, when a film or a program does deviate while also keeping sort of like the heart of it. Because I don't want to watch. Yeah. It's like with a book. I don't want to watch what I've just read. I don't want to, and I don't want to watch what I've just played, etc. Like, I hate when the beat for beat remakes and like versions. And also a big shout out to Muppet for the super chat saying Marvel Snap is shit. See you next week.
You're wrong, but it's okay.
But yeah, like I say, there's some good deviations from source material, and there's some bad ones. Like the Resident Evil TV show recently was shocking. Like, and not even that, the Resident Evil film before that, the most recent Resident Evil film, where it sort of combined everything into one film. Yeah. Like they threw everyone in there. There was like plots from like 6 different games. It was just a weird like amalgamation. It was just horrible. But Halo, I quite liked the Halo show. And some of the episodes were terrible, like the ones with Khan and stuff and all that bollocks, boring. But I didn't mind the actual plot with the girl who was like one of them, and she came down, and then he got his jiggy on. I didn't mind that.
Master Cheeks.
Yeah, I was all up for Master Cheeks in the sheets. I was fine with that. And then it ended on a high, and the fight scenes and stuff were great. Now I've started reading the.
It ended dreadfully, Ash.
I liked it.
No, are you a Halo fan?
Like, no, I wasn't. So I like Halo.
That's why.
I played like Halo 1, 2, and 3. They're all right. I quite like them. Halo 3 especially online, fantastic. But since I watched the TV show, I was like, I'm going to start reading the books. I'm like 2 books in now. I've read whatever they were called, Flood and the other one.
Fall of Reach.
Yeah, Fall of Reach. I don't get why they didn't just make them into TV shows though, because they like expand on the games loads.
Yeah, I mean the Flood's just the book version of Halo Combat Evolved. The Fall of Reach is kind of
Fall of Reach is fantastic. That could have been the first season of the TV show.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's difficult because when you like love the source material in the way that I do with Halo, it's really difficult to separate like. Trying to think like, okay, they've got to have some creative freedom. They can't just remake the games. I agree with that. But there was some like fundamental things that make Halo that they deviated from. And I thought the ending of the TV show was one of them, Ash, which I thought was dreadful, which, I mean, I'm sure if people wanted to watch it now, they would have, which is like the idea that Chief just became this like husk for Cortana to take over. That's not Halo. Halo is about the relationship between Chief and Cortana in those games, and them working together that turns Chief into the character that he is. Like the whole part of the Cortana program is the Spartan and the AI working together to form, this unbelievable super soldier. And instead, what they decided to do is turn the Chief into a fucking zombie that is controlled by an AI, and it's things like that. Like I don't mind little things where they deviated, but things like that, like core to what the Spartan program is and what the Cortana program was in Halo, I don't think you can do that.
To be fair, since I've got more into it, I agree with you more. But from like someone who didn't know any of the lore, I didn't really pay attention to the Halo story. I just shot things and enjoyed the multiplayer and stuff.
Yeah,
playing sumo and shit with warthogs and all that rubbish.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the show. It was an enjoyable show from a show point. Like Last of Us, I'm enjoying Last of Us. It's not in any sort of class similar to Halo. Like the first 2 episodes I've watched so far, I'm going to watch the 2 tomorrow, are like amazing episodes, like fantastic. They're absolutely great. So I'm looking forward to the others now. And also a shout out, the next episode is tomorrow, not on Sunday for anyone watching because of the
Super Bowl.
They pulled it forward. They're not that cocky, though, are they? They're not that brave to put it on. I think they should put it on same time. I think if Sony have got the big balls, ring up Jim, mate, and tell him BMG he's got to put it on same time. But in the terms of like Halo,
he's not taking anyone's call at the moment.
That's it. He's hermiting in a shed in a wood somewhere, rocking.
He's abandoned.
His phone's on airplane mode until the CMA release the next report.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh no.
Release the Jim Ryan cut. We want to know what he said.
He's got to make a really good TV show or film in it. This whole shit when it gets in the future, someone's going to make some like series on it. It's going to be great.
I wanted to go to court so we could have like a Johnny Depp Amber Heard type thing where we can all just like tune in and watch. That'd be so awesome. Oh, I'd be so up for that.
Fucking hell. Oh, you need just the cool catchphrase for pro PlayStation and pro Xbox things. That's what we need. Oh, I forgot what we were on about now. How great the Halo show was and everyone loved it. That's what we were on about.
Oh, nobody loved it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as a show, and I'm looking forward to season 2. Yes, if you were a big fan of the story, I can see why it would piss people off. It's like me. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and some of the stuff in like the new Rings of Power annoyed me, but I still really enjoyed it because I'm one of those people that can. I'm okay with changes. It's life. Do you know what I mean? I understand why stuff gets cut and changed. Like I think the Lord of the Rings trilogy is probably one of the finest trilogy of films ever. However, they cut a lot of shit and changed a lot of shit out of the books, but they did it in a good way. Like, no one needed the Skyrim of the Shire. It's like a second ending after the big epic defeat and the big bad guy. They go home and an old man's battering them. It's a bit weird. It's like it's not the main ending of the tale in sort of a cinema way, and they don't need Tom Bombadil because why do you want a weird little man in wellies dancing around singing? People wouldn't get it in the cinema. I understand why they cut stuff like that, and I'm all up for changes of pace and like sometimes timelines as well if it works. So from what I can see, The Last of Us does deviate a bit from episode 3 onwards, which is good. I'm all up for that. More backstory, more sort of character development and stuff like that. So
they're doing it in the right way. They're staying faithful while providing additional context and background and stuff.
Yeah, the thing is with episode 3, it's very different. You get it's a really good episode. It's really, really good. 2 of the characters from the game, one of them mainly that's just reference. You get a whole backstory, how they met and stuff like that. And it's really, really good. A lot of people find it very controversial. A lot of people are against the episode, but it's such an amazing episode and emotional as well. But they've done it right. You know, HBO Max tend to hit with everything they do. They know how to make a show. So it's probably one of the best video game adaptation from game to TV in a very long time. I can't recall the last one that was actually decent, if I'm honest.
Not live action. Obviously, you've got not live action and Arcane and things like that are
live action.
Good.
Why
but live action, you're probably right, BMG. My apologies, gentlemen, if it's okay with you guys. I do have to dash. If that's not too much of a problem.
In the next 5, so feel free to jump. Thank you for turning up.
No. If you're wrapping up in 5, I'll hang. I'll hang about for 5, Ash. If you're wrapping up, mate.
Oh, I'm going to blitz through some of these because I didn't pick these topics, but I'm going to quickly blitz through them. So I at least I've covered them. Dragon Age Dreadful gameplays leaked. We're not going to talk about it because the PS Plus podcast talked about it yesterday. Go over there and watch that. Looks pretty awesome in my opinion, but it is still like early sort of leaked footage. Take-Two are planning some layoffs as part of a 50 million cost-cutting reduction program they've announced.
Disney cutting 7,000 jobs today, announced as well.
But they're cutting 7,000 jobs, but they're giving us Toy Story 5, so I'll let them off with that.
No one wants Toy Story 5.
I do. I like Toy Story 4. That ending of Toy Story 4 is just as sad as Toy Story 3. When Buzz and Woody, spoilers, they go their separate ways. Although, I'd like to see Toy Story 5 would be like Buzz gets sick of Bonnie's shit, shanks her, and then goes up to Woody. Like, I'm sick of this.
Are we in an RPG session again?
Yeah, and he's like, he chokes, he like shanks her with Sporky's head, like he fucks her up with Sporky's head, stabs her to death, and then he just goes on like he clears his head, he gets rid of Jessie because she's just the worst character in Toy Story. He's like, I don't need you, woman. I changed for you. You made me into like a dancing Spanish guy. That's enough. And he goes off on an adventure looking for Woody. That's what I want. Or It should just be Woody, Buzz, Woody, Bo, and Keanu Reeves on like a road trip movie where they're helping other toys, because that's literally how it ended. And I want more of that because they were the best bit of that film. So,
do you have Toy Story toys at home?
No, I've got some pops somewhere. I've got a Toy Story Uno. Does that count?
No, I just wonder if you like play with these toys and make them walk around and talk to each other and stuff. And this is what you're imagining.
Oh, they do that when I'm not there, mate. That's what Toy Story's about.
Touche.
No, we do need. We need a Small Soldiers sequel. That's what we need. But yeah, Disney are laying off 7,000. I bet a lot more companies are laying off a lot of people soon, so it sucks. But yeah, we're getting Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, and then more Zootopia stuff. So with one hand they take away, and with one hand they give off. So sad times there. Take-Two are laying people off, but they haven't announced any sort of number yet. But it is coming, even though they make silly money out of GTA. They're just going to have to do another GTA 5 fucking remake to get a bit more.
Yeah. Oh, I'm all for that. Give me another copy. Oh, go on. Give me the Ultra 4K edition. Oh, 70 quid. I'll buy it.
Oh, and then I'll talk about it because it's coming. Atomic Heart's preload is now available. I don't know why we picked this as a topic, but this is ready for you. Atomic Heart preload's now available. There was also some news on the game came out. Full completion is going to take about 35 to 40 hours. Just to play through the campaign, you're looking at about 20 to 25.
That's a long campaign for a shooter.
Yeah. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what they're saying. And it does have, I think it's, what's the word? It's 4K, but it's not proper 4K. Dynamic 4K and 60 FPS, I believe, on Series X, which is nice, and also PS5. So it's going to look good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
did they not say it was 4K 60?
Yeah, dynamic 4K.
Yeah. Right. Oh. Right. So, I thought they actually said it was 4K 60 on the series. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, dynamic 4K 60 on the PS5, Xbox Series X. The Series S is running at 1080p 60.
Yeah. Hey, they've got it at 60. That's the main thing. There's been too many where it's been 1080 30 on the Series S. So again, that's 60 FPS is good to see.
Yeah. And then we'll quickly end with the new Game Pass games coming that have just been announced. February 9th, you're getting NFL 23, Madden NFL 23 on console and PC via EA Play, and SD Gundam Battle Alliance on cloud console and PC. Then February 14th, we're getting Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, which is also coming to console and PC and cloud. February 15th, City Skylines Remastered, cloud and Xbox Series X and S. February 16th, Shadow Warrior 3, cloud console and PC. I'm really looking forward to that. And then February 21st, Atomic Heart on cloud console and PC. So, yeah, they're all right. There's not a bad lot of games. There's not as many, if you noticed, at the beginning of this year. There's not as much getting added to Game Pass. It's much more sparse. We'd get more. Like, that seems to be like all of February, unless they're going to announce some more. Whereas,
yeah, they normally do second drop. They normally do 2 drops in the month.
Why put Atomic Heart on when it's sort of second half of the month?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I think it's not been too bad. I think Persona 3, 4, Monster Hunter Rise, Hi-Fi Rush in January. Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying January's releases were crap. They're just compared to the amount we were getting last year. There's a definite wind.
That's fair.
This time of year, there's not as many releases, so they don't want to get old stuff on. Who knows?
Is MLB 23 this month, or is that next month?
March, I think. Yeah.
March, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess this is a year where they're going to start getting the first-party games on there, so they should be a little less reliant on third-party because we're going to get falls like Redfall, had Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield, maybe something else. So I guess this is possibly the year where we do see less third-party big titles because there's less of a need for them to go on there like they've been for the past couple of years. But we'll see how the year pans out.
Yeah. And also, finally, after what feels like 16 years, we finally got both versions of Hot Wheels are now on Game Pass as well. So enjoy it, guys, because I know Fimber was on about it last week. So play it, enjoy it. It's a stackable achievement list, so play both. And with that very quick roundup, I will call it a night. We've gone over our 2-hour slot by about 10 minutes, so I do apologise to everyone I've kept. Thank you for Scott for joining us. Do you want to tell people where they can find you quickly?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for having us. It's always a pleasure to join you guys. So thank you very much for having me again. You can catch me and this guy right here at SX2 Gaming down here on Twitter. Yeah, to have one more appearance, BMG.
The Halo TV show. But yeah, thank you, BMG. Thank you, Sentinel, for joining us. Thank you to everyone in chat. We've had like Thimber, UK Dazarus, David, Muppet, we had Jinner, we had Luke Steele, and a few other people I can't remember all the names for. There was a guy called Deli. So big thank you to everyone in chat for joining us. If you're not watching this live or you're listening to it on the podcast, hit that like button, leave us a review, share it out on social media. And we'll be back next week, 8 p.m. GMT time. Hopefully Redders will be back as the host. And yeah, enjoy gaming, have fun, don't be a dick online, and we will see you very soon, guys.
Later.